J.D. Vance in 2021. We have to go to war against the idea women don't want to have kids. In an interview with The Federalist in May of 2021, Vance was asked what he thinks conservatives can do to encourage more. Vance was asked what he thinks conservatives can do to encourage Americans to have more kids. To be a little stark about this, I think we have to go to war against the anti-child ideology that exists in our country. Not enough people have accepted that if they put their entire life's meaning into their credential, into where they went to school, into what kind of job they have, if you put all your life's meaning into that, you're going to be the sort of person who asks women to talk about how they regret having children. You're going to be a sad, lonely, pathetic person, and you're going to know it internally. Vance brought up his sister, Lindsay Lewis Ratliff. Sometimes, she'll say things to me like, maybe I should have delayed having kids. Maybe I should have went to school. And it's like, Lindsay, you've been a great mom. Your children are happy. They're healthy. People like my sister should not feel like the cultural messaging is your life is inadequate. The people who are sending that message should feel that their life is inadequate. And of course they do. They're just too ashamed about it to talk about it. Ratliff recently pushed back on people criticizing Vance over comments he made about women and families, specifically his claims in 2021 that childless cat ladies are miserable and have no direct stake in America's future. In a statement to CNN, JD was raised by some of the strongest women I know and went on to marry an incredibly strong woman. The attacks from the media and Democrats that assume anything else otherwise is vile. J.D. Vance does not like the idea of universal child care, and he's not in favor of IVF. I understand some women can't get pregnant. I just looked it up on Google. It's literally 11% of women have experienced fertility problems. And I'm sure J.D. Vance will make an exception for those women who cannot get pregnant. I'm sure of it. But if you're a young woman between the ages of 19 or 29, peak fertility for a female, but it doesn't even have to specifically be age 19 to 29. If you're healthy enough to have a baby, you should. Just going to break it down real quick. Universal child care. It's going to make child care a public service. And if J.D. Vance says he wants a war on the idea that women don't want to have children, we're going to have to negotiate. My tax dollars will happily and gladly go to families that are having children actively. The problem is we don't have enough people, or we are not going to have enough people to replace the ones that are going to be leaving the workforce. We might not be able to sustain the cycle of the Social Security if it's still in place, of working in and then taking out when you're older. Okay, let's try to break this down. You're a woman. You want to go and work on your career. A single person. One person. If you have 3, 4, 5, or 6 kids and you raise them well with your husband, they're going to grow up. They're going to get careers. And what do you know? That's more people in the workforce. And again, I already covered this in a previous video. A Gen Xer who was 57 years old decided that she was going to go back to college and get her degree. I said it before too. You can go back and earn your degree at any age, but you cannot have children at any age. What do I keep saying over and over again? Some of the ways that we can make America great again. Reduce the number of foreign people in this country. Have more American children and make more American families. I'm not sure how they're going to enforce this law. I apologize. I'm not sure how they're going to enforce this idea of a war on women who don't want to have children. But I'm all for it. In a Pew Research Center survey of Americans under 50 who don't have children and say they're unlikely to have them, 57% said they just don't want kids. A larger Pew survey released in 2023 found that 47% of child-free adults, US adults under 50, said they're unlikely to ever have kids, a 10 percentage point rise from 2018. Pew's recent report released Thursday is based on surveys it conducted between April 29th and May 19th, and 2,542 people 50 and older without kids, and 770 people between the ages of 18 and 49 without kids. 64% of women and 50% of men under the age of 50 cited just don't want to as the main reason they are unlikely to have children. Meanwhile, 36% of Americans under 50 without kids said they can't afford to have them, while 26% cited concerns about the environment. All that stuff is extremely sad. I said this in my last video. Don't worry about the environment. There's not a lot you can do. Don't try to stop people from driving cars because you want less CO2 in the air. Excuse me, I mean in the atmosphere. Just do what you can do. That is, don't litter, pick up the trash, and recycle. That's all we as human beings are expected to reasonably help out with. We gotta get to work, and a car is the fastest way to get there. A lot of people said they didn't want to have kids just because they just didn't want to. But people said they didn't want to have kids also because they can't afford it. Again, I'm all for this. Every woman who is capable of having a child or children should indeed do that. But we gotta give in a little bit. And maybe if Trump and J.D. Vance get in, maybe he'll change his tune when it comes to universal child care. We have to incentivize people to make more children. And yes, J.D. Vance is going to enact a policy that makes hospital visit to have the baby delivered. We're going to make that free. Maybe we have to revise who is eligible for those government benefits. If you're a couple who just had a baby, or 2 or 3 or however many, just a hypothetical, you're eligible to get government benefits and the universal child care bonus. You qualify. I don't think it has to be said, but I'll say it anyway for dramatic effect. Illegal foreigners should not be eligible for government benefits. It will only go to people with children, American citizens with children. You know what would certainly help a family that just had children? Prepaid debit cards like the ones you gave the illegal aliens who arrived here illegally. First of all, we have to stop giving money to foreign countries to fund their conflicts. Secondly, we have to reduce the number of people who receive government benefits. SNAP benefits are like $1,700 to $1,900 in Massachusetts and California. So just reduce the number of people who receive government benefits to the actual vulnerable American citizens, such as new parents that just gave birth to children and the elderly who can't work anymore, and any other vulnerable person in a scenario that's an American citizen. Maybe a little revision is all that's needed to make universal child care a reality. Right now, America is weak. We have foreign invaders coming over, bringing crime and drugs over the border with them. We could be 4 months away, potentially, from the largest deportation operation in human history, and 4 months away from every woman capable of having children should have children. We could be potentially 4 months away from an America like that. Now remember, every woman has the potential to be a mother, just like every man has a potential to be a father. I'm going to do my part. Ladies, hit me up in the comment section below. Hopefully we can make something happen. Hopefully my insurance covers childbirth. Remember that episode of Family Guy? Peter goes, just have a bunch of kids, and hopefully one of them becomes famous and they can take care of you for the rest of your life. It's easier than ever to do that. You don't even have to wait for one of the kids to get famous. You can just whip out your phone and just do a family show. Those get tons of views. Whatever the reason is you don't want to have children as a woman, this is how people get the idea of the great replacement theory. To convince women to focus on their career and themselves, pound into their heads so much and they don't want to have children. Same thing with the environment. You keep telling them there's too much CO2 in the atmosphere. They're telling you the world's going to end soon. They're just telling you it's not a good environment for children. So all that stuff's being put into their heads, right? And at the same time, the native-born Americans aren't having children. We are being replenished with people, but they're foreign invaders who don't belong here. So we have people who can produce other people, and you tell them not to do that, but you want to allow foreigners who live in another country to come here. That would be the Great Replacement theory, and that's why one would come to that conclusion. In America, where every woman gets pregnant and has children, is an America we want, an America we need.